bóyá pé ó lọ sí àpò ìjọba a máa sọ pé bóyá pé wọ́n sanwó orí díẹ̀ tó lè padà wá ṣe ará ìlú ní oore ṣùgbọ́n ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ àwọn tí wọ́n gba owó yìí owó tí yẹ pé kò bófin mu òun ni wọ́n gbà pẹ̀lẹ́pẹ̀lẹ́ náà wọ́n á dẹ̀ tún máa da àwọn ọlọ́jà ní àmú ọlọ́jà tí yẹ pé tó ti ṣírò pé iye báyìí lòun máa gbọ́jà ibikíbi tó bá ti ń dúró tó ń sọ pé kí lọ́dún pé ó ti di dandan pé kó fi kówó ọjà òun náà wá jèrè ni òun náà dẹ̀ ti ọlọ́jà náà ti ní tirẹ̀ lára tẹ́lẹ̀tẹ́lẹ̀ o ó ti ní tirẹ̀ lára tẹ́lẹ̀tẹ́lẹ̀ o ṣùgbọ́n tí wọ́n wẹ̀ tó tún máa rọ̀ wọ́n lọ́wọ́ kó dẹ̀ sí tí wọ́n bá gba
ọ̀bùn ọlọ́jà rí kọ́ ti rọ̀ mọ́
bẹ́ẹ̀ ni ó ní láti ìjọ tọkọ òun ti kú
òun ò ti wẹ̀ síbẹ̀síbẹ̀ ọ̀bùn ní tẹ́lẹ̀
bẹ́ẹ̀ ni so òun ni pé kí ìjọba wa kán bá wa yọ àwọn kàńdá kó nínú ìrẹsì ìyẹn bẹ́ẹ̀ gbogbo mo dé ibùdó báyìí mo sanwó mo dé ilé ìbáyìí ṣe bí kí ló ní pé èyí tó tún fa pẹ́ náà tó ti jẹ́ pàtàkì náà ni pé ọ̀rọ̀ ààbò náà ìyẹn náà tún wà ń bẹ̀ bó tẹ̀ jẹ́ pé kókó nǹkan tí yà ń sọ lé ni pé bí àwọn ọlọ́jà bí wọ́n ti ń san owó tí ìyẹn kan máa san bóyá agbófinró ni o agbófinṣẹ́lẹ̀ ni o àwọn ọmọ ìsọta ni o gbogbo kí ló ti pè sí gbogbo yẹn kíjọba bá wa sọ pé ó dà pé ní àìpẹ́ ó kàn jẹ́ pé òfin ìlú yìí níjọba sọ pé gbogbo tó bá jẹ́ pé bóyá pé oúnjẹ ẹ má gba àwọn owó kan lé lórí sódà tó wáyé ó máa fi débi bíi kò ní di pé bóyá pé oúnjẹ máa tún máa wọ́n torí bí owó ṣe ń wọ́n nísìn bí oúnjẹ ṣe ń wọ́n nísìn yìí ó ṣe pé kínní ẹ̀yin yá wa gan gbogbo tẹ́ bá gbowó ọbẹ̀ gan tẹ́lẹ̀ lẹ́ máa rájọ dá
èèyàn máa pa àṣìpá èèyàn á tún fi kún ni èèyàn máa tún fi kún sí i ni
àjẹgbẹ́ bí a kó tẹ́ ti gbà lọ́wọ́ tẹ́lẹ̀ yẹn náà
lọ́wọ́ tó ń gbà padà ọlọ́run
wà. kíjọba bá wa ṣe kó mú pé kíjọba dẹ̀ bá kí wọ́n ṣe òfin lórí ẹ̀ kófin yẹn múlẹ̀ pé gbogbo ọkọ̀ tó bá ti ń gbóúnjẹ bọ̀ láti ìpínlẹ̀ kan wá sílùú Èkó àbí láti ìpínlẹ̀ Èkó lọ síbi kan káàkiri Nàìjíríà pátápátá pé kó má gba owó ọ̀nà lọ́wọ́ wọn tó wọ́n máa fi débi bí a lè rọjú kíjọba bá a ṣe.
bẹ́ẹ̀ ni o bó ṣe.
ọ̀pọ̀ ni ẹ̀ mọ̀ èkó ni ohun ìkúrò gan na who will arrest ìjọba.
kò sí.
ọmọ.
àwọn torí ìwọ láyà àǹtí ẹ
ọmọ àjẹmẹ mú à
ìwọ láyà àǹtí ẹ.
òwe fún mi ìjọba arrest. maka na ke mmadụ we may import something from abroad. You spend so much money you bring goods into Nigeria. You now get to the seaport. You will open go big money to clear that goods. Imana from my papa to Ikejeba. There are so many checkpoints.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni. Bẹ́ẹ̀ni. Ibi ta ara det kọ́kọ́ ro wọ́n ní port long. Obo yowo tó gbà.
Can I be I am still coming into the market. Leave market first. Ishinime apapa na produce container na abia. Inside the port itself. Iya ko go.
Wọ́n gba owó ńbẹ̀ yẹn.
Iya ko go.
Wọ́n gba owó.
Me na put side like this. Iya ko go.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni.
Ndị police iya ko go. Ni ga na ga ego.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni.
Abekwa abia rukwe n'ime ahịa when you not get into the market itself. Asikwa owó ekele, owó nke, ị na-akwụ ụgwọ. Ka ihe mere ihe anaghị adị ọnụ. Why won't it be expensive in the market? Ihe ga-adị n'ọnụ na.
Amashiro gbogbo ẹ̀kọ́.
Otu ọnụ na mbupụta container, if I bring container from abroad, I come here. I use more than 20 million to clear it. Same there area normal price. It's not possible.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni.
Mmere ya dị expensive, but ọ dịrọ mma na. Na n'onwe ya balogu kwuru na they should stop tasking food, at least the food when he also mekunu chọrọ food task every other thing but have the food leave food for us government mmemu na arrest olórí mú àgẹmẹ ìjọba arrest.
rọra calm down.
ichi
ayọ̀ tí kò bá ti ń kàwọ́ lára ìwọ tí ìwọ ń gbọ́ mọ́.
ayọ̀ tá a sí mọ́tò àtàsí spare parts àtàsí case àtàsí eke àtàsí furniture.
ọgbẹ́ àní wọ́n tax mọ́tò kan ó lòun yọ̀ǹda torí owó tó yẹ tó máa fi rà ní Nàìjíríà òun lọ fún lọ́hùn ó ní òun ti yànda ẹ máa gbé lọ òun ti mọ̀ pé fún ẹfọn pépé ni
ó padà tún wọ kí ló ti gbó padà.
ẹ padà ẹ máa kó nǹkan yín lọ ẹni tó ní mọ́tò ẹ padà wá gbé nǹkan yín padà.
so iye àgbà how we get tax every other thing but leave food for us hapụrụ tax.
oúnjẹ jẹ kókó ló ń jẹ.
wọ́n ní ẹni mi náà ikagula I'm tired.
òun lẹ ti gbọ́ ọkọ̀ kì í ṣe gbèbì nìkan ló ń bínú o inú àwa gan inú ń bí wa Àyìndé inú wọn náà ìjọba ò ṣe é mú akọ̀mọ̀ abẹ́jọba náà ni nítorí tiwọ́ kó tiẹ̀ dé nìyẹn kì í ṣe pé bóyá a máa arrest wọn a máa ìbẹ̀ wọ́n ni ipe kókókó là ń fúnrán ifá adití nígbà tẹ́ bá gbowó lé gbogbo nǹkan tẹ́ bá tún wá gbowó lóúnjẹ ṣé oúnjẹ wá jẹ́ imported ni ṣàtúwò import oúnjẹ ni àbí nígbà tá a bá sọ pé ní kí àwọn oúnjẹ tó dé láti náà ti débi báyìí tán ti gba owó dé lọ́nà 20 tán ti gba owó lọ́nà 20 nígbà tí wọ́n bá débi báyìí àpẹẹrẹ tòmátì wọ́n bá gbowó lé gọbọi tán bá gbowó lé gọbọi ní àárín within àwa ní Èkó wa yìí náà tí onímọ́tò bá gbé ẹrù báyìí àwọn ọlọ́pàá ò dúró wọ́n máa mú SBTA àwọn kìíní náà àdúrà.
people that are selling tomato. There was a time they did the scarcity, strike, and I gave people to Lagos State. You saw what happened that period. Even in the North County, no tomato. One basket of tomato, they lay 25-30.
No, over 100,000 in time. Over 100 in fact.
Can you consider awkward this taxation on the road? Because you job. Black. You job talk to your people to stop taxing people on the road. Kind of only brew tomato now, they brew other kind of beverages. Now they are from the north. All the whole checkpoint. I now here go.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni. Wọ́n wá ní gbowó kékeré. Nǹkan tó wá ń bíyàn nínú láàrin àwọn ọlọ́pàá yẹn. Lóòótọ́ kì í ṣe gbogbo ọlọ́pàá ló ń ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn. Ṣùgbọ́n gbogbo ẹ̀yin tẹ́ wà ní ojú pópó. Tẹ́ bá ti rìn láti bíbà sí bíbà ẹ máa pàdé ọlọ́pàá. Tẹ́ bá rìn láti bíbà sí bíbà ẹ máa pàdé. Ṣé gbogbo owó yẹn lẹ fẹ́ gbà tán lọ́wọ́ wọn? Ṣé gbogbo owó yẹn lẹ fẹ́ gbà tán lọ́wọ́ wọn ní pátápátá? Kò ṣe pé àbò ká mú ní àpẹẹrẹ bóyá láti bíbà ìdè Ìkẹjà ẹ pàdé tó 20 nígbà tí wọ́n bá fún mi ní 100,000 pé ó bá mi fi gbówó yìí lọ sẹ́kọ̀ọ́ 30 gba gbogbo owó tó kù 20,000 àbí 10,000 lọ́wọ́ mi ṣé ọmọ ojú òní máa gbọ̀n mí ṣé tó bá dijọ́ mi ti bá fẹ́ gbá ṣé mi ní dọ́bù pé ìwọ tó bá fẹ́ gbé ọjà báyìí o ó yá 100 ni mò ń gbà lọ́wọ́ ẹ̀ tẹ́lẹ̀tẹ́lẹ̀ 500 ni màá gbà o nítorí àwọn èèyàn wọn sọ pé 500 bíi ti báwo nítorí pé mo ti calculate gbogbo tí máa bá lọ́nà tí máa bá pàdé lọ́nà ọ̀pọ̀ náà bí wọ́n ṣe ń sọ tó bí wọ́n ṣe ń sọ̀rọ̀ tó àwọn agbófinró mi wọ́n ti ẹ̀ wo.
Those people in Agba Fanana on the road, is it that they are not hearing word?
Wọ́n gbọ́ wọ́n kétí kún ni.
Their oga, their superior, the IG is not talking to them.
No, kúkú talk to them.
Olórí I will go there by myself.
Máa lọ síbẹ̀ o, I will not there o. I will not there o, o bá lọ bẹ̀ I will not there o.
Came in nothing gbẹ̀rẹ̀gẹ̀dẹ̀. And I want to know, you keep talking to them the same thing and I go.
Ogun efi I will not there.
Bá ṣe ń bá wọn sọ, àní dákẹ́ náà ni. Àbá máa sọ ni ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ nínú àwọn tó ń jẹ́ olórí wọn yìí gẹ́gẹ́ bí Ògbóbi ṣe sọ wípé ṣé wọn kì í gbọ́ ni ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ nínú wọn ti jẹ dòdò àbòsí ẹni wọn wá kọ́ wọn lè ṣe dòdò torí wọn máa padà ń jíṣẹ́ fún wọn kọlọpàá àwọn ọlọ́pàá báwọn ẹlòmíín náà kan tó jáde.
nígbà tó jẹ́ pé percentage wọ́n ti sọ pé àwọn gbọ́dọ̀ mú pa ìwọ tí a sọ pé kò mú percentage wá èmi náà mú percentage tèmi máa fi kún máa fi kún.
tí babaláwo bá ti ń dájọ́ ojúmọ́ ẹbọ ẹ máa lè.
bẹ́ẹ̀ni ẹbọ á lè ẹbọ ńlá ló máa gba nítorí náà nígbà tí Ògbóèfì máa rẹ̀ sí máa lọ bẹ̀ àìwá náà di ẹ̀ o nítorí pé ó máa yẹ lẹ́nu pé màá deny yẹn èmi àwù deny yẹn èmi máa deny yẹn ní pé àwa náà di ẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ni nítorí pé àwọn tá à ń sọ yìí wọ́n tún lè rí òbu ẹ̀ pé báyìí ni so nǹkan tá à ń tura láti
a máa sòdodo.
bẹ́ẹ̀ni
a máa sòdodo.
nǹkan tá à ń tura láti iron out ni pé kò sí lábẹ́ bó ṣe lè kó rí tó nígbà tí láti bí báyìí síbẹ̀ yẹn tá a bá rí agbófinró tó tẹ̀ tí ẹlòmíì bá wá kọ̀ láti má fún wọn a di pé kẹ́ máa kọ́ kìbọn a di pé kẹ́ máa kọ́ kìbọn a di pé àwọn ẹ̀sùn tí kò ṣe kẹ́ máa fi lọ torí pé ẹ fẹ́ gbowó èrú èèyàn lè fún èrú gbà ìbùkún bóyá àwọn agbófinró wa bóyá inú àwọn olórí wọn ò ká wọn gẹ́gẹ́ bẹ́ẹ̀ sọ mo rí kíní kan lórí fọ́nrán alágbèéká tí ọlọ́pàá yẹn tó mú ẹgba tó fi ń nà bá lé lójú àwọn ọmọ ẹ̀ tó fi ń nà kí ni nǹkan tó ṣe kí ni nǹkan tẹ́ béèrè lọ́wọ́ ẹ̀ tí kò mú sílẹ̀ tó wá di pé ẹ̀ ń nà bí ìgbà tẹ́ ń nà ọmọ léèwé.
That is the annoying part of it.
tí ẹ̀ ń nà bí ìgbà tẹ́ ń nà ọmọ léèwé tẹ́ máa mú belt tẹ́ máa fi nà baálé ilé ẹjọ́ ṣé wọ́n tún train yín mọ́ yẹn pé kẹ́ lọ́ọ́ máa nà ará àta ni ó dàbẹ́ ní pé àwọn olórí wọn ó dàbẹ́ ní pé ẹnu wọn ò ká wọn mọ́.
Do you know what they will tell you when they catch you on the road? They will tell you that if you don't give me this money, I won't even let you go. You're not going anywhere. I'm on my own office.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni.
Is it good?
Ìkọ́kọ́ ṣẹlẹ̀ lójú wa lẹ́nu ọjọ́ mẹ́ta tí gbogbo wa rí ẹni yẹn ẹ rí ní òkè òkun bí èèyàn kan bá wá ṣẹ̀ kámẹ́rà ti wà tó bá yẹ pé lóòótọ́ ló ṣẹ̀ wọ́n kàn máa déédéé wá síbẹ̀ ni o ní cause láti deny ó sọ pé ẹni sọ pé kíní yìí òun ò ṣe ẹni ó ṣe ẹ wá ní kó park ó máa gbọ́dọ̀ bá yín dọ́fíìsì yín dandan òun ò ṣe kíní yìí ó dá ẹgbàá ẹbá lágbájá òun ò ṣe everybody dẹ̀ mọ̀ pé wọ́n ò ṣe kíní bọ́ torí pé bóyá wọ́n ń dájọ́ ní ẹ wá sọ de dandan nígbà tí wọ́n sọ pé ẹgbàá ẹwà ẹni náà báwo lẹni náà ṣe bá jẹ́ nígbà tó bá rí i pé ọ̀gá ìyá yín ni ẹ̀ ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ wá mọ́ òun wálẹ̀ wọ́n wá mọ́ òun wálẹ̀ tán ẹni yẹn ẹ wá ń fohùn sílẹ̀ kẹ má rò pé bóyá yín nìkan lẹ́ni kíní kan kí là ń bá ká torí owó èló lẹ fẹ́ gbà tí ẹ tọ́ pé láàrin ọjọ́ mẹ́ta kódà kó fún yín lówó yẹn kò lè bá yín dalẹ̀ torí pé ẹ ti ní bùkátà tẹ fẹ́ fi gbọ́ ẹ ti ní bùkátà tẹ bá fi gbọ́ ẹ wá fi nǹkan ọjọ́ kan ẹ wá fi pa gbogbo ìgbésí ayé yín jẹ́.
olórí you know this time we are talking ìjọba now we should talk about the market women.
bẹ́ẹ̀ni
ìyẹn náà ẹ̀mẹ́ ní máa fíà.
bẹ́ẹ̀ni
ìjọba is doing its own.
bẹ́ẹ̀ni
what about ní máa yà. wọ́n yẹn gàbíà somebody will carry her load at market and put it there. imam go lego in the morning imam go lego in the afternoon you don't know whether she has sell 1 naira. onye gàbíà in the morning they will collect his own.
bẹ́ẹ̀ni
onye gàbíà in the afternoon they will collect his own.
wọ́n ní tax collector láàrin ọjà
will collect his own. how do you want that woman to make gain.
bẹ́ẹ̀ni ìyẹn tún kéré àwọn
kéèkì ṣe ó jẹ mẹ́gẹ́.
àwọn tí wọ́n tún fi sí orí walkway tó tẹ̀tẹ̀ pé illegal ni tí ògbéfi bá wá tó bá lọ àbíkàrí máa wá tó bá èmi náà wá mo lè má ti pa nǹkan kan mo lè má ti pawó ẹ wá máa sọ fún mi pé tí mo bá mówó yẹn sílẹ̀ mi nítajà mi ò ní pàtẹ àtẹ tí mo dẹ̀ fẹ́ pa yìí ni mo fẹ́ yọ nínú ẹ̀ fún yín apẹtẹ tí mo fẹ́ pa yìí mi ti pawó tí màá tẹ̀mí máa fún arin máa fi jẹun tọ́kílẹ̀ sọ pé àwọn ọmọ tí mo fi sílẹ̀ nínú ilé ẹ wá máa ń bẹ̀ tiẹ̀ ẹlòmíà máa fi ẹsẹ̀ gba ọjà ajé ọrọ̀ ajé yìí ẹ wá máa fi ẹsẹ̀ gba nítorí kò tí ì mówó fún yín at that point in time ẹ wá máa sì sí ọjọ́ yàtọ̀ sáwọn tax force o àwọn tax force náà àtúndé wọn àtúnṣe tiwọn àwọn ará ní ọjà náà àtúndé bí àwọn ìyá lọ́jà bàbá lọ́jà kò kì í ṣe gbogbo wọn o torí pé tá bá ti ń sọ àmàmà yànnà náà ẹ̀yin náà àtúndé ẹ̀ tún sọ pé ẹ fẹ́ gbowó titi yín nínú èlò tó fẹ́ pa ẹni ilé má pa ju ẹlòmíì ẹ̀mọ́ pẹ́ lómi dé inú ọjà tí ò ní pa owó rárá tó máa fi lọ sílé.
and you say the price of goods should not be expensive.
ó máa tún yáwó oúnjẹ àti
ó máa tún tó bá tún lọ́ọ́lé á tún yáwó oúnjẹ ẹ wá dérú ọ̀dọ̀ ẹni bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn ẹ wá ní kó mówó wá dandan.
ká máa láàánú ara wa.
ẹ jẹ́ ká máa láàánú ara wa nítorí owó tẹ̀yìn fẹ́ gbà sápò ẹ wá di pé kẹ́ máa bẹ̀ sí ní máa yọ ẹ̀ṣẹ́ kẹ́ máa bẹ̀ sí ní máa na ẹlòmíì ni pé kò gbọdọ̀ pa àbí tẹ́ bá di pé kò tẹ̀ wá mọ́ ẹ wá gbé ọjà ẹ wá ní kẹ́lòmíì replace ibẹ̀ yẹn kẹ́lòmíì dúró síbẹ̀ wọn ò bí da kó wà ń bẹ́ẹ̀ mọ́ ṣẹ́jẹ̀ ń ṣàn lára yín ṣá ṣe ní feelings bọ́ọ̀rọ̀ àwọn olóyìnbó.
olórí you see the anointing owó náà in that those boys are needy and they train nípa yẹn train those boys na eme nnọọ ka rascality behave rascality ichi na mmadụ ego when you want to collect money from somebody o nwere ka esi agwa ya okwu you do it gently how did they say
owó ẹ̀dá
onye abịa sị bịa owó ẹ̀dá before you know it o gbufuru ihe na-ere you throw away what you are saying.
ó dẹ́ jẹ́ ká kọ́kọ́ béèrè lọ́wọ́ ara wa owó wo ni wọ́n ń fún wọn níbẹ̀ owó wo ni wọ́n ń fún wọn ní ibẹ̀ yẹn eléyìí á lọ amówó sí amú tíkẹ́ẹ̀tì sílẹ̀ ní orí bíríìjì àwọn orí bíríìjì kọ̀ọ̀kan tí a sọ pé àwọn èèyàn máa ń gbà wọ́n ní local government ní owó sẹ̀ nígbà tó jẹ́ pé bóyá ọ̀rọ̀ yìí ọ̀rọ̀ tó tọ̀rọ̀ bí ìsọkúsọ ni nígbà tó jẹ́ pé bí a torí pé wọ́n ti dìbò fún àwọn local government wọ́n ti wọlé wọ́n wá ní ìwọ lọ dìbẹ̀ yẹn mú bí ọmọ ta ìwọ lọ dìbẹ̀ yẹn mú kí wọ́n máa já tíkẹ́ẹ̀tì kò sí kankan bẹ̀ kò yẹ kó já tíkẹ́ẹ̀tì ńbẹ̀ o ṣùgbọ́n torí pé wọ́n fò pé kó máa disturb àwọn ó yá ìwọ lọ máa já tíkẹ́ẹ̀tì ńbẹ̀ yẹn ẹ wá lọ máa já illegal ticket tọ́wọ́ bá wá tẹ̀ wọ́n tán ẹ ní láti local government ni ẹjọ́ kí nìkan tá à ń bá wa àkọ́kọ́ mú láti local government náà nítorí pé gbogbo àwọn illegal destination tí wọ́n ti ń já ticket yẹn owó tipátipá dáwọn ni zero bọ̀rọ̀ àwọn olóyìnbó kò tiẹ̀ yẹ kó rí bẹ́ẹ̀ rárá ni ẹ tó wá fẹ́ gbà tán ẹ wá sọ di tìpá tìkùkù.
na-ekwu with this kind of a thing happening nri ga-adị things will be expensive nri ga-adị scarce be expensive so a ga na-ayọ ìjọba do something every day ka nri na-aga up I know one thing about Nigeria anything that goes up doesn't come
down. nǹkan tí mo sọ lẹ́ẹ̀kan nìyẹn pé kí ló àkọ́kọ́ ná àdó àwọn ìyá ọlọ́jà wa kákọ́kọ́ mú láti ọ̀dọ̀ wọn nítorí pé tí gbogbo nǹkan bá wà lọlẹ̀ ẹ̀yin ò wá nífẹ̀ẹ́ kó lọlẹ̀ á wá dúró bẹ̀ ẹ̀yin ni ẹni àkọ́kọ́ tẹ́ máa pariwo pé ìjọba ni ṣé ìjọba ló ń bá yín increase gbogbo ọjà ní gbogbo ìgbà ṣé ìjọba ló ń bá yín increase ẹ̀ ní gbogbo ọjọ́ ìjọba ló ní kẹ́ máa gbówó lé ráìsì ẹ̀wà gbogbo ẹ̀ ìjọba ló sọ pé kẹ́ máa gáàsì nísìn kò wá fẹ́ wálẹ̀ mọ́ gáàsì ò wá fẹ́ wálẹ̀ mọ́ ṣé ó dìgbà táwọn èèyàn bá protest tí ó bá tó wá di lórílẹ̀ ó di gòbe tí àwa ò fẹ́ kó rí bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣé gbà ilẹ̀ ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ máa rò pé kínní ìjọba òde rán yín ní gbogbo nǹkan tẹ̀ ń ṣe gbogbo ẹ̀ ti wá sílẹ̀ kí ló wá dé àwọn tó ń ta gáàsì náà àwọn náà ọ̀dẹ̀ wọ́n á kí ìpò ẹ̀ pé bí yóò ṣì máa wọ́n sí kánkán àkọ́kọ́ bí yóò ṣì máa wọ́n sí ẹ̀yin náà ẹ ti bá wọn ní pẹtrólù ẹ ti bá wọn kọ́wọ́ pọ̀ tó yẹ pé tí nǹkan díẹ̀ bá ti kátẹ́gùn ẹ̀ má ti fẹ̀ sí létí pé strike máa wà ní etí yín máa ti dúró ẹ̀yin náà ẹ̀ wá sọ pé kò sọjà láti máa ta ní dọ́bùdọ́bù owó èpè lẹ́ ń gbà èèyàn ò lè gbowó èpè èèyàn ò lè gbowó kíní kan kó má ṣe kíní kọ̀ǹpútà owó èpè lẹ́ ń gbà kì í ṣe gbogbo ẹ̀ pátápátá níjọba mélòó níjọba fẹ́ mójútó àwọn àjọ tí ọ̀rọ̀ yẹn kàn lèmi rí dálẹ́bi gẹ́gẹ́ bí ògbé èfi ṣe sọ torí pé mélòó níjọba fẹ́ ṣe àpọ́nlé ni fọ́ọ̀mà kò sẹ́nì kankan tó lè ṣiṣẹ́ èèyàn mẹ́rin nígbà tí ìjọba bá rán yín pé ẹ ṣe nǹkan báyìí ó tún wà lọ́wọ́ ìjọba náà ní ìjọba àná ká tó lọ sókè lọ ìjọba àná fún ara wọn ló máa ń jáde kò ní sọ fẹ́yàn kankan kí ìjọba tó wà bẹ́ẹ̀ yìí náà káwọn náà ṣe the same thing
they will not do it
káwọn náà ṣe the same thing.
ìlànà tí ó wà nílùú ìtọ́ fi ń ṣe nǹkan òun ló ṣe ń ba nǹkan jẹ́ bí ìjọba kan bá lọ tí ìjọba kan bá dé tí a bá ṣe ètò bí ìlànà yẹn tí ó ṣe ìlànà yẹn yí pé mi lágbára láti ṣe nǹkan tó wù mí ìlànà pé nǹkan tí n bá ṣẹ̀ mò ń láti jìyà ẹ̀ṣẹ̀ tí n bá ṣẹ̀ ìlànà yìí pé gbogbo nǹkan tí ó wà lọ́jà kí price control máa wà lé lórí pé iye báyìí ló ń tà gẹ́gẹ́ bí àwọn ìjọba kan wọ́n á sọ pé iye báyìí ni ó gbọ́dọ̀ ta ju báyìí lọ òṣùgbọ́n ìjọba tó ti ṣe yẹn wọ́n ti gbogbo gbà yẹn kò sí pé owó mi dà owó ọ̀nà eléyìí gbé owó lórí kíkọ̀ ju gbogbo kan lọ ní ìrọ̀wọ́ ọ̀rọ̀sẹ̀ ẹ máa wọ́n sìn ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ gẹ́gẹ́ bí ògbébi ṣe sọ ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ containers ló wà ní port institute wọ́n ti gbàgbé ẹ̀ síbẹ̀
ẹlòmíì àbádọ́ ẹ̀ pátápátá ni
ó ní yọ̀ǹda ẹ̀ ní
mo yọ̀ǹda ẹ̀
ìdá nínú agbowókà
bẹ́ẹ̀ ni
ìgbà tí èèyàn ra ọjà 5 naira tẹ́ni kó wá fi 1,000
wá fi clear kìlómítà táwọn èèyàn dẹ̀ mọ̀ pé oye báyìí náà ta báírò yìí ní ìta ṣé kí wá dé ta kí wá pé báírò yìí ní 500 tí mo dẹ̀ pọ̀ mọ̀ 100 naira ta ló fẹ́ rà lọ́wọ́ mi ẹ jẹ́ ká dókè lọ́hùn-ún ká lọ sí abala ọ̀rọ̀ ajé pẹ̀lú Princess Adéọlá Michael alájà àwọn nǹkan tó ṣe wọ́n lè ní ṣùgbọ́n lábẹ́ bẹ́ẹ̀ Adéọlá Michael máa wọlé pẹ̀lú wa nǹkan táwọn náà tún ní thank God pé ọ̀rọ̀ ajé náà là ń sọ tá bá padà dé ìyá alájé wọn á tún wá ṣe kíni wọn á tún wá gbẹnu sí máìkì kẹ́yìn náà kẹ́ wá wo bó ṣe rí ní ọ̀dọ̀ tàwọn náà à ń bọ̀ àti ìdè. bàbá wọn ní ìgbọràn sàn ju ẹbọ ríru lọ ìfetísílẹ̀ ó sàn ju àgbò nítorí pé ẹ má wò pé bóyá níta làwọn tó ń sọ̀rọ̀ yẹn níta bá gbọ́ títí wọ́n táwọn náà bá gbọ́ títí níta bá gbọ́ra wáyé kò sí nǹkan tó dùn tó bẹ́ẹ̀ ni nítorí pé kò lè kọ́gùn sọ́dọ̀ tí yín púpọ̀ torí pé àwọn ìjọba wa wọ́n máa ń fún wọn ní nǹkan ni fún wọn wọ́n máa gbé irú tòmátì lápẹ̀rẹ̀ wọ́n máa gbé wá ká wọn mọ́lé ni pẹtiróòlù gan wọ́n fẹ́ gbé wá ká wọn mọ́lé tọ́kílẹ̀ sọ pé àwọn oúnjẹ àwọn ẹni tó yẹ pé bọ̀rọ̀ kìnní tó wà ní gbogbo bọ̀rọ̀ kìnní worldwide ẹ rí i pé gbogbo especially oúnjẹ wọ́n máa ń gbé ká wọn mọ́lé ni wọ́n mọ iye tó ń tà okòmù yàdágọ̀ ni wọ́n kò kò kí ń ṣe pé àfi bú yín o ṣùgbọ́n òwe tí ó lọ mọ́ nǹkan bẹ́ẹ̀ nìyẹn tèmi bá jẹ́ kí n jó lóye nísìn ẹ kàn rí pé bẹ́yà bí ọba ẹ kàn rí pé lóṣooṣù ẹlòmíì lè gbàtà wá ẹlòmíì lè gbé kinní wá ibi tá à ń lọ nìyẹn ẹ jẹ́ ká kí káàbọ̀ ìyá alájẹ gèlè ìyá alájẹ lélẹ̀ àgbáyé gèlè ìyá alájẹ.
àkókò ní para wa mo kí yín káàbọ̀ sórí ètò yín ètò wa Wazobia abala tí a wà báyìí ní abala iṣẹ́ ajé orúkọ tèmi ò yí padà o Adéọlá Adélẹ́yẹ Michael ni mò ń jẹ́ o báwo ni weekend lọ́dọ̀ tí yín ṣé weekend tí yín ṣé ẹ fi weekend ẹlòmíì torí bó ṣe ń lọ Nàìjà yìí kọ́lọ́run ṣàánú fún wa.
àmín kọ́lọ́ òótọ́ dẹ̀ ni weekend yín ṣe fi weekend ọmọlàkejì yín ọ̀rọ̀ ni lóòótọ́.
ọ̀rọ̀ ni o tèmi mà yé mi ó mà ṣẹlẹ̀ ní àárọ̀ àná ni o bí mo kàn ṣe rí kọlù ẹ̀gbọ́n mi yẹn ni mo ní ẹ̀gbọ́n yìí mo ní kí n dédé pè mí àfi tó bá fẹ́ jọ ìyàwó ẹ̀sùn bá ní gbòòrò ẹ̀gbọ́n báwo ni ó ní princess mo máa bẹ́ẹ̀ já o mo á ní èmi àti yóò jọ níjà tẹ́lẹ̀ ó bá ní ìyá ìbejì ti lo gáàsì tán mo ní ẹ̀gbọ́n how many litre lẹ́ra ó ní mo ra 2 litre níjọ́ Sunday tó kọjá ó ní ní àárọ̀ yìí òun ní kò ṣe ṣu fún un ó ti lò tán
2 kg atẹ́gùn náà wọ́n lè fọ́ máa ń fa atẹ́gùn sí sí yẹn.
mo ní 2 litre mo ní báwo 2 kg
bẹ́ẹ̀ lè lo fún 2 weeks
ọ̀sẹ̀ kan pé òun expect kó di àná yẹn púpọ̀ wá ní kó ṣe iṣu fún un lánàá pé ó sọ pé gáàsì ti tán mo ní ẹ̀yin náà mọ nǹkan tó ṣẹlẹ̀ ní ó ní má bá mi sọ bẹ́ẹ̀ obìnrin ni ẹ́ ó ti mọ̀ pé òun lọ́ọ̀ ló máa ṣáìd mo ní nǹkan ti le jù ẹ̀gbọ́n mi wá ní kí n bèrè lọ́wọ́ ìyàwó òun pé ṣé ó ṣe àwùsá ni ó ní ṣé ó ṣe ẹ̀wà àtàgbàdo ni ó nítorí nínú ọ̀sẹ̀ yẹn ẹ̀kan ló ń jẹun ní àárọ̀ kó tó kú ó lé ìyá àbèjì báwo ló ṣe ń lọ kí ló ṣẹlẹ̀ ó ní ẹ máa gbọ́ nǹkan tẹ onísọ̀lẹ́nu lẹ́gbọ́n yín ó ní àwọn máa jẹun láàárọ̀ wọ́n á jẹun lọ́sàn-án wọ́n á jẹun lálẹ́ ó ní báwo lòun ṣe fẹ́ ṣe èmi náà wá rò mo ní ẹ̀wò ẹni sùúrù ibi tá a bára wa ni o.
2 kg yẹn gan-an wọ́n bá yín fìlè
okun
wọ́n tẹ̀ ẹni tó fìlè yẹn wọ́n fìlè àtẹ́gùn torí tó bá fìlè àtẹ́gùn mi ti kù aláì kò lè lo ìwíìkì.
ẹ̀gbọ́n ẹ̀wọ̀n náà lè ti ń gbọ́ yẹn.
kò lè wo bàbá ìbejì kẹrí ìyàwó yìí kò kówó sẹ́yìn láyé ìsìn wọn èkówó gáàsì sẹ́yìn mọ́.
wọn ò dé ṣàgbàdo àtẹwà àgbàgbọ́ mi oníṣó ṣàgbà ó ní kì í jẹ́ wà.
àwọn èèyàn ń ṣẹ̀wà mọ́ ẹ̀wà tó náà lẹ́sẹ̀ rẹwà tó lélẹ̀ ẹ̀wà ti lélẹ̀ báyìí.
ego lè kógoro 1 kg how much did they buy the kg.
ó dàbí pé nǹkan tó fi ká lára ni pé 2.5 lẹ́gbọ́n rà.
oye tó ń ta bẹ́ẹ̀ ni
lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́
báyìí 2.5
ní ọ̀sẹ̀ tó kọjá yẹn
ní filling station báyìí ìsíbẹ̀ 1.4
àbí
1.5 èlé náà wá fẹ́ tà níta.
àti 1.4 àti 1.5 ṣé kò wọ́n ni.
ó ná ibi tá à ń lọ gangan nìyẹn pé nǹkan tí nǹkan bá ti lọ sókè lọ́dọ̀ wa níbí Dangote gbé sílẹ̀ ní 700 Dangote gbé gáàsì sílẹ̀ ní 700 tọmọ wa fẹ́ gbé sílẹ̀ bí nǹkan ara nǹkan tá à ń sọ pé àtọwọ́dọ́wọ́ fowó kún ṣe gbogbo ẹ̀ nígbà tó wá débi ẹ̀yin tó yẹ pé alára tún tà ẹ̀yin náà tó wá dé yín mọ́ ẹ̀yin wo ẹ̀tẹ̀ bá gbọ́ fìrìfìrì ẹ̀yin náà torí pé èrè àjẹpajúdé ó ti pọ̀jù fáwọn èèyàn wa.
ẹlòmíì gan àti ẹ̀wá ní nínú kò ní tà.
òun náà là ń sọ ọmọ ọ̀dẹ̀ afẹ́kàyàn máa káàkiri ó lè jẹ́ pé ẹ̀kọ́ lọ́sẹ̀ tó bá ti rí pé èrò ti pọ̀ ṣé èmi tẹ́ pé mò ń dáná lọ́wọ́ gáàsì sọ mọ́dẹ̀ gbọ́ bẹ́ẹ̀ kaná.
I have one solution.
ṣé mo wá kí ni solution.
one solution.
kí ni solution.
inwe gáàsì jẹ́ gòrò kòlópọ̀tù.
àwọn èèyàn máa ti ń padà sí kòlópọ̀tù.
edu náà ṣì máa wọ́n o.
kò lè dàbí
gáàsì.
bẹ́ẹ̀ ni kò lè dàbí.
olórí a máa sigi go take kerosene kerosene is expensive.
kerosene gan
owó ju
so you go take inwe gáàsì in case of incasity because gáàsì finish either on Sunday morning or in the midnight or very early in the morning when you want to go to work gas will finish. So the best thing is get a kolopot. Keep one side in case of incasity.
èló lè fẹ́ rà ó kàn jẹ́ pé kolopọ́ọ̀tì
tó yẹ pé ẹ máa dá báyìí kò ní jò.
ó dà pé wọ́n ṣe àwọn kolopọ́ọ̀tì kan nísìnyí tí gọ́ọ̀mẹ̀ntì gan fún yàn lọ́fẹ̀ẹ́ ni àwọn àmọ̀bọ̀ tí kò kan àwa local government tó bá ṣe kí ní tẹ̀bá àwa máa tún yín síta ni a máa tún yín síta ni torí wọ́n fún yàn ni wọ́n dẹ̀ ń jẹ́ kó yí wa pé ẹ má ra o kì í ṣe títà kò ń ṣe títà ó ní bẹ́ẹ̀ level by level ṣùgbọ́n ìyẹn kolopọ́ọ̀tì yẹn tí wọ́n fún gbogbo local.
Sorry, ọkọlọpọt kí n kà pẹ́ yàtọ̀.
ṣùgbọ́n mo fẹ́ bèrè kankan colpot ni àwọn ìbára ní colopot àwọn ọmọ mi ti ń ta bọ̀ọ̀lì náà is colpot but colopot ló kọ́ mọ́ ló ń trend òun ni gbogbo yan àwọn ọmọ mi ní mọ̀ pé colopot but under nínú kerosene àti gas èwo ló wá last jù.
tó last.
kerosene wọ́n ju gas lọ òyìnbó ló wá last jù.
bóyá ká máa fi 1 litre kerosene dáná àti 1 litre gas.
káwá wo ètùbí tó máa pẹ́.
gáàsì sì máa
bẹ́ẹ̀. nǹkan téèyàn kàn ní stove fún tí mo kàn ní stove fún ni pé mo kàn rárá kékeré fi ìjọ tí gáàsì bá ti sáré tán màá kí n sáré lò.
and you know one funny thing is that when you use kerosene to cook on a pot are they very black. And I see all the time. But when you use gas, it's so beautiful like when you're looking in your mirror. So I prefer to use gas. But I don't know why it's expensive.
No, also depend yo. Because ẹlòmíì ò ní ìtì ẹlòmíì á lo gáàsì ìdí pọ́ọ̀tù yìí máa tún dúdú nítorí pé kò mọ́nítọ̀ bọ́nà ní kókó tó bá ẹlòmíì ń lo stove tó yẹ pé ó máa lo stove ẹ̀ báyìí blue ló máa yọ kò ní mú kíní wá. ẹmọ orí èèyàn tó ń lo stove tó yẹ pé ìdí pọ́ọ̀tù ẹ̀ ó yìí neat bẹ́ẹ̀ ni ó depend bí èèyàn bá ṣe neat bẹ́ẹ̀ ni ẹlòmíì
because majority na dey black na.
irọ́ ó ní stove máa ń yọ blue stove máa ń yọ blue bẹ́ẹ̀ ni
falling stove
no
local stove
ó ń yọ blue kò sí gbogbo stove tó kì í yọ blue ṣùgbọ́n stove tó bá ti ń já gbogbo kíní ara net kíní yẹn òun ló fi ń mú blue jáde bọ́nà náà ni ṣùgbọ́n tí wọ́n tó bá ti wá take tó ti jákàjáká tó yẹ pé ọ̀bùn èèyàn ni tó fi sílẹ̀ yóò mọ̀ yọ likewise gas náà tí bọ́nà ẹ̀ tó bá ti já tó bá take stove ìdí pọ̀tù ẹ̀ ó máa dúdú. kò sí bó ṣe lè orí bẹ́ẹ̀ ni
gáàsì bẹ́tà ju ó tẹ̀ sí bẹ́tà ju.
ó yìí bẹ́tà ó ṣe bẹ́tà kéèyàn mọ kò sí lábàlú ẹ̀ àti stove àti gáàsì àti kerosene àti ọ̀fadà nínú òjé.
èwo lọ̀fẹ́.
èwo kò sọ́fẹ̀ kò gbogbo ẹ̀ lówó gbogbo ẹ̀ náà ló máa lọ kí
òfin. ìjọba sef náyìn náà yẹn free èmi promo náà ìjọba do
promo wo ni ìjọba ṣe
all of them.
ìjọba máa ṣe promo tí ìjọba bá ṣe ok ẹ jẹ́ ká gbà pé ìjọba máa ṣe promo àwa èèyàn ká máa ṣe promo ṣáwa èèyàn máa gbà kan ṣe promo.
I may protest mọ́nà 3 of us.
èmi ò tẹ̀lé
ìjọba free of charge.
ogun èfì á lọ àwa máa wà lẹ́yìn ogun èfì.
òun èkó lọ sábùdá yìí.
bí eré o tó gbé èfì bá lọ ó ní
orúkọ lè.
no Ngawa you follow me now if I'm going you go with me.
princess.
You know she dey carry this again and follow me.
ìyẹn náà na.
olórí you follow too.
no èmi àwa náà díẹ̀. èmi náà wọ́n mi sókè àwa náà díẹ̀. mi ìṣọmọ nàìjíríà tó bá ti dẹ́sẹ̀
oníkà yìí. but when I collect now you collect.
I will follow.
you see am Nigeria.
ẹ jẹ́ ká dókè lọ́hùn tá a bá padà dé àwa fi ìdí oko àfi ìdí ọ̀ọ́dúnrún àwọn ìjọba akànbẹ̀yìn ni ẹ wò ó kì í ṣe olóòótọ́.
Well, very distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the celebrant, I'd like to say a very warm welcome to each and every one of you. We're ready to start the party, and no better way to start the party other than the party monster himself. Please make welcome my friend, your brother, our artist for the day, the one, the only, Shotaleno, Shadow Johnson.
See, everybody say what? Ladies and gentlemen, if you're really ready to party, can I see you put your hands up this way? Everybody, put your hands up. 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 Oh yeah, energy, see. Energy. Oh yeah, energy, see. Energy. Oh yeah, best it. Oh yeah, we need some fire on. One more year now. We need some fire on. I need some fire on. One more year now. We need some fire on. Have you seen the fine girl today? girl today. Should you want to fight to you? Should you want to fight to you? Ebony, see. Melanie, see. Ebony, see. Melanie, Pompey, see. Ebony, beauty. Melanie, Pompey. Ebony, beauty. Melanie, Pompey. Oh, Ebony, show talent. Should you want to tattoo you? Should you want to tattoo you? And if you shoot talent. I need shoot ta-ta-ta. Shoot ta-ta-ta. Shoot ta-ta-ta. Shoot ta-ta-ta. Shoot ta-ta-ta. Oh yeah, shoot you one more to check on. He don't go. He don't fool you, don't look. Shoot you don't to be on me. He don't go. Shoot you don't to a gada. 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 He don't go. He don't go. Shoot you don't to no dollars. He don't to no dollars. He don't to no dollars. Oh, I got down no dollars. Oh, I got down no dollars. Oh yeah, show me no way you talk. Show me no way you talk. He don't sell it no way you talk. He don't want. He don't want. He don't go. Ah, show me no way you talk. But you show me no way you talk. Oh no, we'll have to watch you. Serve yourself. Oh no, we'll have to say. Serve yourself. We don't show me one no. Show you we don't show me one no. Hey, show me no way you talk. 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 See, are you spending the note? 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 Are you spending the day? Are you spending the note? Are you spending the note? Oh yeah, show me no way you talk. 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 One more time. Are you spending the note?
ọ̀rọ̀ láti gbọ́ látẹnu ìyá alájẹ lórí ọ̀rọ̀ ajé Princess Adéọlá Michael bàbá àbèjì ẹ má bínú mọ́rọ̀ Nàìjíríà ṣe rí nìyẹn o wọ́n gba àwọn bàbá àbèjì àti ìgbé ibi tó wà mí ìbáyìí gan àwọn gan kanra ara ń kan Gaza ṣùgbọ́n lábẹ́ bẹ́ẹ̀ náà Ọlọ́run á túbọ̀ bá wa tó á bá wa mú gbogbo ẹ̀ wá sí ìrọ̀rùn torí pé ìrọ̀rùn igi òun ni ìrọ̀rùn ẹyẹ nígbà tí ara bá tu ará ìlú ní ará ìlú ò ní máa pariwo lójoojúmọ́ o nítorí pé tó bá tó rí stage kan táwọn èèyàn bá dìde Ọlọ́run má jẹ́ kó di Ọlọ́run ò ní jẹ́ ká rógun Ọlọ́run ò ní jẹ́ ká rí ọ̀tẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ ni ṣùgbọ́n ká tó tẹ̀síwájú ká kí ọmọ ọlọ́jọ́ òbí lè ní ìyẹn Ìdòwú ọmọ Abdulkareem Balógun lẹ́yìn obìnrin orúkọ ní ń rò wọ́n Ìdòwú wọn tó yẹ mọ̀ pé bàbá àbèjì làwọn náà Ìdòwú wọn èní ní ọjọ́ 13 oṣù kẹwàá Ìdòwú Abdulganiu ọmọ àpèdè Abdulkareem Balógun èní lọ́jọ́ òbí yín o lágbára Ọlọ́run wàá ṣọ̀pọ̀ ọdún láṣẹ tẹ̀dùmarè ó ṣe fún ìyá jẹ ó ṣe fún bàbá jẹ bẹ́ẹ̀ ni láṣẹ tẹ̀dùmarè gbé èfì Ìdòwú.
So now happy, that is happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Long life and prosperity.
Prosperity.
Prosperity. Now, where else long life and prosperity.
Ó ti yí àwa ń bí ó ti yí àwa ẹ ó yá pé lágbára Ọlọ́run àṣẹ ìṣàmọ́dún.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni ìdádó ọdún kan Abdulganiu
lágbára lọ́wọ́ Ọlọ́run
Balógun
a ṣe fún yín jẹ lágbára Ọlọ́run
àti wá kí gbogbo àwọn ọlọ́jọ́ ìbí náà
pátápátá àṣẹ ìṣàmọ́dún.
Àmín.
Eléyìí láti wá fi ń kí akọrin kéwì bàbá àbèjì ìyá àbèjì ó bí ìbejì ní níjọ́ tó wá sí bíbá yìí lọ́jọ́ yẹn tó wá ṣáǹtì ṣé tí mo akọrin kéwì ó bí ìbejì ọmọríléwà akọrin kéwì ó bí ìbejì ọjọ́ Thursday ni ọmọ àṣekò mọ́nà àti ní àmúní yóò máa fà lọ́jọ́ yẹn báwo la ṣe máa ṣe báwo rí lẹ́yìn ẹ̀yẹn àwà kí ẹ gbogbo ikọ̀ Wazobia ń kí ẹ pé lágbára lọ́wọ́ Ọlọ́run ó kú àjàbọ́ àwọn ọmọ náà wá ṣe fún ẹ̀jẹ̀ ìbejì lẹ́ẹ̀kan náà bàbá ìbejì ń kí ìyá ìbejì ògbé èbí ń kí ìyá ìbejì Adéọlá Fàtẹ́ àti gbogbo Yorùbá àti gbogbo Wazobia crew pátápátá là ń kí akọrin kéwì ìpè lágbára lọ́wọ́ Ọlọ́run ó tún máa lọ́wọ́ rẹ̀ lẹ́yìn òun náà ní Ìdòwú.
bẹ́ẹ̀ni wọ́n ní ìyá àbèjì kó tọ́jú àwọn
ìjìrẹ́ ọmọ méjì àwọn aláìsí kí ọmọ wíníwíní lójú orogún
ìjùwọ̀ lójú ẹ̀ ìpọ́n ìbábí ìbáyọ̀ owó alákìsà
ó sọlé alákìsà tó ní gbaṣọ
àbíjọ ọmọ tí ń gbà kúnlẹ̀ ìyá àbíjọ ọmọ tí ń gbà
kúnlẹ̀ what's going on.
àbíjọ ọmọ tí ń gbà kan ìkúnlẹ̀ bàbá àti màmá tẹ̀bí ìwọ oyè mẹ́ta triplex ẹ̀ta oko nìyẹn ẹ̀ta oko nìyẹn.
ló fẹ́ bẹ́ta sí i ọ̀nà tó fẹ́ ìyàwó kan tí ò ti rí gbogbo gẹ̀rí ayé sọ pé gáàsì wọn gáàsì wọn ó dẹ̀ ìfẹ́ lọ bọ́jà bọ́
bóyá ògì làwọn ọmọ fẹ́ mú.
kọ̀ǹtẹ́nà ọ̀dẹ̀ tí wọlé.
it is well lágbára lọ́wọ́ ọlọ́run wọn máa lọ́wọ́ rẹ̀ lẹ́yìn wọ́n rí lé wa akọrin kéwì congratulations gbogbo ikọ̀ Wazobia à ń kí ẹ lágbára lọ́wọ́ ọlọ́run ẹ̀mí ẹ̀ báyìí ni wàá fi tọ́jú àwọn adẹ́dàgbà wọn ṣe fún ẹ jẹ. nígbà tá à ń sọ ìmọ̀ràn wa fún àwọn ìjọba wa ìyá lọ́jà bàbá lọ́jà àwọn ní kọ́kọ́ àwọn tó ń tajà tó ń fowó kun ṣé ká má tó wá bá wọn wí ká tó wá bá àwọn tó yẹ pé àwọn tó ń wà lọ́nà bóyá tí ìjọba wa bá wa dẹ́kun ẹ̀ gẹ́gẹ́ bí a ṣe sọ bóyá owó yẹn máa tó wálẹ̀ ká wá wo nǹkan tá a fẹ́ ṣe.
òun náà là ń sọ yìí pé ìlànà tá a fi ń ṣe nǹkan òun ló fà á kò ń ṣe pé yàtọ̀ sí pé bóyá pé àwọn èèyàn ó wá ti wá di pé bóyá pé ìlànà yẹn tí ènìyàn bá ti débẹ̀ ṣe bá àwọn arábájú ṣe nìyẹn èmi náà ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ kí ló fẹ́ ṣẹlẹ̀ òun la fi ń sọ pé kí ìjọba tó máa ṣe òfin kọ́ jẹ́ kí òfin yẹn máa múlẹ̀ kò ń ṣe pé òfin tó máa lọ ní oṣù méjì mẹ́ta tẹ́ pé kí náà ti pè ẹ má gba owó lórí oúnjẹ ẹ má fún àwọn èèyàn ní illegal taxation lórí oúnjẹ pé ẹ má máa dúró tipátipá lọ́wọ́ wọn owó orí tí ò yẹ owó orí tí ò dókè tá a mọ nǹkan tẹ́ fi ń ṣe gẹ́gẹ́ bí òbí ṣe sọ lẹ́ẹ̀kan ipe ẹ má gba owó ní ọwọ́ wọn ẹ yọ̀ǹda so that oúnjẹ á lè lọ sílẹ̀ tí bí bá ti kúrò nínú iṣẹ́
ti kú fẹ́rẹ́fẹ́ gbogbo èsì bẹ́ẹ̀ ni kò gbọ́ wàásù o.
ìmú àwọn èdè kò bíkò ìjọba all the kind of go no it's like when they are talking to ìjọba I don't know whether you people watch television at all or you don't go to the market to
no ẹlòmíì máa wò ó máa mójú kúrò
and ìjọba afia do you people go to market at all to buy something.
ọ̀hún lọ.
hana rẹ̀ jẹ́ so hana ìbútẹ́rẹ́ hana yà they feed him free of charge.
bẹ́ẹ̀ni.
because ìmọ̀ náà yóò náwó like I said before you can tax everything in this life but you see food please leave it for us. And again nri na abia all the way from the north you know it's in the north that they have plenty of good. Tell your boys. I don't want to call them. Tell your boys on the road that when a truck that is carrying food is coming, they should leave them alone. They should not collect. They can collect. In fact, they can do their nonsense and other places. But in Kebunli, leave them. So that when this food get to my 12 market, it will be cheap. Because and when they came from outside the country, our government tariff is too high. Reduce your tariff so that they can bring the food. You can do on the other goods, but you see food, and a lady. I'm an unable from outside. We have our own to cultivate our own too, but we can't lie there from outside. Because so that is my plea. Because you are.
About that very.
Oníyọ̀ṣe ọlọ́kàṣe ẹ̀yin tẹ́ jí ọjọ́ bẹ̀ náà ṣe ẹ̀kọ́ ìbínú orúkọ tèmi ni Dr. Abdulkarim Ọlámilékan Balógun adúpẹ́ fún àsìkò yín tó jẹ́ oníyebíye tí ẹ fi sílẹ̀ fún wa láti wo ètò Wazobia Plus lórí ẹ̀rọ amóhùnmáwòrán Mitv ẹ tún máa bá wa bọ̀ ní ọjọ́ mi pẹ̀lú àṣẹ tọ́lọ́wọ́n bá ètò Wazobia Plus náà ó ì tún tẹ̀síwájú ní ọ̀la ṣùgbọ́n ẹ̀yin ìjọba wa ẹ jẹ́ ká gbé ilé ayé ṣe dáadáa kí àwa náà dé lè sọ pé bóyá pé dáadáa láṣẹ ọwọ́ ìjọba nìkan kó wá lówó àkùsí ó kù sọ́wọ́ èmi ó kù sọ́wọ́ àwa máa sọ tiwa èyí tá a dẹ̀ ń sọ gẹ́gẹ́ bí òbí ṣe sọ pé èyí tá à ń sọ yìí táwọn oníròyìn ń sọ yìí wọ́n ń gbọ́ o wọ́n ń gbọ́ o wọ́n ń gbọ́ o Ọbáfẹ́mi Awólọ́wọ̀ ó ní ayé ò ní bàjẹ́ nítorí àwọn èèyàn tó ń wá ń wa ìkà ó ní ṣùgbọ́n ayé máa bàjẹ́ nítorí àwọn èèyàn tó ń wo àwọn èèyàn tó ń wa ìkà tán dẹ̀ dákẹ́ tán dẹ̀ sàn kankan àwa máa sọ tiwa.
ẹ fún nọ́mbà ẹ̀rọ ìbánisọ̀rọ̀
08023980676 ẹ pè mí sórí ẹ̀rọ ìbánisọ̀rọ̀ 08037 08023980676 èmi ni máa gbé pẹ̀lú àṣẹ tọ́lọ́
wọn. This one that is at the job bus stop there they remove his glasses so I've been saying very well before the glasses was there I don't know who go and remove it because Awolowo be your students in peace but try and talk to those that are alive they can do something anyway ọkọ̀ òfu ògbé fìyà na Wazobia TV na allow some asunu ihe ọbụla unu chọrọ ime promote ayé ọbụla unu chọrọ ilele whatever you want to do ma ndị na Alaba ma ndị na trade fair anywhere unu bịa ebe ma na computer village unu bịa na Wazobia TV na alawụsị ebe ọnụ akpọ m na phone 08161532028 ka mkpọkwa ya ọzọ 61532028 dáná nà kàmbá bọ́sọ̀ àyẹ̀wò padà.
bẹ́ẹ̀ ni o ebi kì í wọnú kọ́rọ̀ mi ì wọ́ ẹ má jẹ́ kébi pa wá ẹ wò ó tẹ́ bá gbówó lé gbogbo nǹkan ẹ fi oúnjẹ sílẹ̀ ẹ sọ̀rọ̀ fún gbogbo àwọn àjọ àti ikọ̀ tó máa ń mú àwọn olóúnjẹ lọ́nà ẹ sọ fún wọn pé kí wọ́n kọ́wọ́ ọmọ wọn báṣọ àtijọba bá dẹ̀ ti sọ fún wọn tẹ̀yìn ò bá dé tẹ̀yìn bá wá ketí ikún kẹ́ ẹ mọ̀ pé ọjọ́ gbogbo ni tó lè ọjọ́ kan ni tòlóhun ọjọ́ tí ọkọ ọba tó bá ti ṣayín lẹ́sẹ̀ ẹ má máa sọ pé ìgbà àkọ́kọ́ yín rèé ẹ ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ wá ni ẹgbẹ́ polówó yín wá jáde gẹ́gẹ́ bí ààrẹ balógun àti Ògbóẹ̀fì ṣe sọ bẹ́ẹ̀ ni Ògbóẹ̀fì wà olórí 2 balógun 3 gẹ́gẹ́ bí wọ́n ṣe sọ bẹ́ẹ̀ ni gẹ́gẹ́ ẹ jẹ́ ká fi tiwa ká fi gbé tiyín lárugẹ ṣíkíní mọ̀ ní báyìí la máa gbà lọ́wọ́ yín ẹ lè pèsè 080 36 39 0061 080 36 39 0061 ọpẹ́ pàtàkì lọ́wọ́ gbogbo àwọn tájọ pètò pọ̀ lẹ́ni èèyàn rere làfáà mi àfáà Kẹ́hìndé òsè tún Ọlátúnjí Badmus Muhammadu Yusufu thank you very much God bless you gbogbo ẹ̀yin IT student pátápátá adúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ yín Prince Deola Michael adúpẹ́ pẹ́kun yálàjẹ́ nìyẹn our able producer Prince Wale Fashina adúpẹ́ pẹ́kun lọ́wọ́ gbogbo yín.
no change the life of doctor also doctor Wale Fashina.
Doctor Prince Wale Captain Wale Fashina adúpẹ́ pẹ́kun lọ́wọ́ yín God bless you. àwọn èmi náà dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ ara mi Adéọlá Fàtẹ́ ni mò ń jẹ́ ó tún di ọ̀la ní dédé aago 10 sí 11 tẹ́tù pàdé mi àti Ògbóẹ̀fì láṣẹ tèdùmarè àwa la máa wá o ẹ̀yin la máa bá a máa lé ni àní dín láṣẹ Èdùmarè ó dàbọ̀.
staying at home and just doing what their friends are doing. So by the time they get into school, they are not fully engaged in classrooms, and that's why you also tend to have so many young people indulging in courtesan, because they are not actually studying what they originally wanted to study. And even for the few who manage to secure admission to go and study what they want to study, what you also find is that they are not very happy in the places where they're studying, because most of the courses are not being taught by very competent academics. And we can't blame those academics for not being competent. It's just the fact that as a system, as a country, we have not given them opportunities to acquire the latest thinking in the professions that they practice. We are not giving them access to international conferences where they can go and learn from their colleagues from around the world. And those of them who teach STEM courses, science, mathematics, engineering, etc., they are not able to teach in environments where the laboratories are adequately equipped, where they have reagents for those of them who are doing things that have to do with chemicals. Those things are not available because the owners of these universities, primarily governments at both federal and state level, are not funding university education well. But in terms of making it possible for more people to be able to stay in the university not be driven out of university because they cannot pay school fees. I think in the last 2 years we have made some progress along that line because there's now NEL fund which lends money to children from poor and marginalized homes and communities to be able to access university education. So along those lines, so some progress here, but overall we are still far behind time because the access we are giving is not really quality access.
I like that you mentioned something now. You talked about teachers, you know, being able to be sent for conferences, you know, around the world, you know, to gain knowledge and know what is happening with their colleagues all over the world. I remember that my father used to be a teacher, so I remember that he used to travel for conferences, you know, places all over the world, government sponsored. Sure. No, so would you say that that's one of the strongest features we used to have then that is missing now that we didn't retain, or have we lost them? Is this still happening to strengthen the education sector in Nigeria?
Yeah, it's one of the very critical, you know, missing links in our education system. You need, you cannot live in a modern world and in isolation because nobody is omniscient, only God is. And so you need to always, you know, find yourself in environments where after you have emptied yourself in the classrooms in your own country, you go to places where some other people also know some things better than you. So that you can interact with them and borrow ideas of which you can come back and improve upon. But unfortunately for us, that has not been the case because the employers of academics have not been providing the funding that will make it possible for you to go to these kinds of places. But that's one side of the story. The other side is the fact that some people have also secured opportunities, you know, funded by government and other employers in the academic industry, in the academia, to go abroad and, you know, secure higher credentials and learn, but never return because in the universities that employ them haven't created enabling environment for them to be able to transfer what they're getting abroad to the resolution of, you know, real life problems in Nigeria. And so that discourages the people who fund these things from sending the next set of people. As we speak now, there is actually a kind of ban on sending people abroad because majority of the people who have benefited from Nigeria's generosity as a result of the fear that if they come home, they will not find an enabling environment to practice in line with what they have been taught. They are unwilling to come back home, and that becomes a very unfortunate situation.
All right, so what do you consider to be the biggest challenges facing Nigeria's education today? Is it funding, infrastructure, quality of teachers, curriculum, or governance? Or all these things put together are the challenges?
Yeah, our problem is complex. Our problem is complex. It has to do with even our culture as a people. There is this understanding here and belief that really what will be, will be. And so whether you go to school or not, it's God that determines who is going to be successful. You see, our religion promotes that kind of idea, which is very unfortunate for us. But we know that if you want to make progress in life, you need a plan, and you need to work with the people who can support you to be able to find the resources to deploy those plans effectively. But that's not what our culture promotes. Our culture promotes that what will be, will be. So you find the people in government not rising to the occasion and you know, taking up their responsibility and discharging it well. And so that's a problem. So for a start, we don't have a clear philosophy of education. We are not yet convinced that education is an indispensable tool for moving the country forward. So in the absence of that conviction that education is a tool for national development, you are not going to find the motivation to put more money in that direction. So governance, so funding becomes a major obstacle, and the reason why funding remains problematic is the fact that the people who are supposed to fund the system don't even believe that education is a very important investment you need to make. And they, as we speak now, things are actually getting worse because the people who should be funding the system, who primarily should be government at the various levels, are beginning to think that education it should be a private investment. It should be a family affair. You know, parents should handle that responsibility. But that's very unfortunate for us because education is not supposed to be a private investment. It should be a public investment, and it's an investment that doesn't bring returns overnight. So, and so individuals, when they invest, they want returns overnight. But when a government invests, government should know that returns don't have to come overnight. Sometimes the benefits you're looking for will come after about 30 years, especially when you have the right people running the system. But that's not the way we're thinking here. So we want to sow today and reap tomorrow. But when it concerns education, you sow today, sometimes you reap in 50 years' time, especially when people are thinking properly. So absence of the right philosophy with respect to education, recognizing that education is an indispensable tool for moving society forward. And that will drive the people running the system to put more money into it. So they will fund it better. So which, again, we know we are not funding it well. The money that, for example, you know, Harvard spends on taking care of a few thousands of students annually is probably much more than the Lagos state budget, which we know remains the richest government, state government in Nigeria. So that gives you an idea regarding what we're grappling with. You know, as a researcher, there was a time I was in Norway and I saw an environment where they were training children in kindergarten, children who were not more than 5 years old. And I inquired into their budget, and I discovered that the budget they were using to take care of 200 children in a year was significantly more than the entire budget of University of Lagos in a whole year. And the University of Lagos is a place where up to 40,000 children, young people, are studying, and you can imagine that. So the money we use to take care of 40,000 young people in the university is lower than what a Norwegian kindergarten school is using to take care of only 200 children. And the people here don't seem to understand that that is not how things are supposed to be. Governance is also very problematic. Governments appoint their cronies into very significant and important positions. And that creates
that's another challenge.
You know, political problems within the system, and then so envy and on international rivalry are things that don't move the system forward, and that at the end of the day makes the wrong people to head important departments and faculties, and that definitely spoils the whole show.
All right. So you've mentioned two challenges on funding. You've mentioned another one on appointment of oversight leaders in a critical sector like education. What about issues of infrastructure? Because I know educators continue to complain about decaying infrastructures in our schools, both tertiary and higher institutions. We continue to complain about that. Now, what do you say about that? And then government is also going ahead to create more universities, you know, and all that.
Yeah, definitely. Infrastructure remains very decrepit in our country. We don't have the right laboratories. And unfortunately for us, even where we have some equipment, we don't even have competent people who can use them to teach the children. I was talking with some young people who recently finished secondary school, and they were actually confessing to me, you know, they attended federal government colleges, and they were telling me that those of them who are studying in technical schools, that you find situations where you have equipment, but you don't have competent people who can use them to teach the children. And sometimes, even when you have the competent people, they are afraid that children will spoil equipment, really. So they don't use them. They lock them up and everything is gathering dust. And so, why? Because again, we haven't trained our people well. So if you are a trainer, if you're a parent, you must make provision for what your children will spoil. You know, it's part of the cost of training people. You know, you have to make provision for what depreciation. Even accountants recognize that if you buy a car today, after 2 years, it won't remain, you know, at the same level you got it at the time you bought it. But the people running this system don't seem to understand that. Again, we know that above all of these, really, we have a major problem that has to do with the quality of our teachers across all levels, from kindergarten to university. We are not running our classrooms in a way that will make those places engaging and make children want to look forward to coming to school on a daily basis, because we are not training teachers well. There is so much focus on mastery of the subject without paying attention to applying the right pedagogy. You know, techniques for teaching. We are not doing well in that area. We just teach children to memorize things and pass exams. We are too certificate-oriented as a people, and that's why we are where we are. So people have certificates they are not able to defend. You have electrical engineers, mechanical engineers who cannot fabricate anything, who can't fix electricity when things go wrong in that. And that's why, look at how old we are, you know, and in a modern society, in the year 2025, Nigeria still doesn't, you know, have the capacity to give you more than about 6,000, you know, megawatts of electricity. And this is the country, if we are running it well and we want to really live very comfortable life, we shouldn't be producing less than 300,000, you know, megawatts of electricity. And look at us being below 6,000 megawatts. So it's difficult for you to move forward in that kind of situation. And even with the laboratory things we are talking about, even when you put them in place, there's no electricity to power them, really, aside from the fact that the teachers seem also to lack the skills to make them work. And modern teachers use, you know, smartphones, use laptops, use projectors, use magic boards to do their work. Those things are absent in most classrooms across the country. Only a few international schools are able to provide these facilities, but those are places where children of the elite study, and they don't constitute up to 1% of Nigerian schools.
I know that so many times from this program you have emphasized the fact that Nigerian students find it difficult to compete on the global stage. You understand? That's been one of your major complaints about the Nigerian education system, not churning out incompetent graduates. Now, would you say that one of the reasons we have that is also because the teachers, like you said, are not doing well enough also?
Yeah, definitely. You can't give what you do not have. We have evidence that
the teachers are not giving them the skills they require.
Yeah, definitely. The teachers themselves don't have the skills, so you can't give what you don't have. And we know, let's start even from the home. We have evidence, you know, through research that proves that children who are brought up by literate women, who are brought up by educated women, they generally turn out better in terms of capacity to think and success generally in life, compared to children whose parents, whose mothers especially, are not literate, are not educated in the formal sense of the word. And so you take that to the school system. If the teacher is not competent, you shouldn't expect the students to turn out well, really, because it's, the teacher is front and center when it comes to provoking inspiration and making the classroom engaging enough for children to want to engage in inquiries that will make their stay in the school system worth the while. But that's not where we are. And that's something we need to wake up and start addressing very urgently.
All right. So over the years, government after government have been changing policies that they feel will help the Nigerian education sector grow. Now, what are your thoughts? Okay, let's say in the last few years, because I don't want us to take it too backward. We're talking about progress of 65 years, but looking backwards, let's say like 5-10 years, what would you say about the policies that are being churned out to improve education in Nigeria?
Well, we have had this belief that with respect to access to higher education, for example, that the way to solve that problem is to get more private sector operators into the ecosystem. And we have done that. So as we speak today, it's more or less a 50-50 situation where 50%, about 50% of universities, polytechnics are owned by government, and the other 50% are owned by the private sector people.
Is it that much? Is it that high?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah, because they have been giving out these licenses as if you're going to buy ice cream in a supermarket, and that has been very unfortunate for us. And as a researcher in that industry, actually, access is my special area in education. And I know that I have done this research for over a decade and brought evidence that says we don't need more universities. We only need competent lecturers. We need the right equipment in our laboratories. And with that, if we support that with the right infrastructure and give children access to internet and give university lecturers access to internet, we can do quite a lot. Almost every Nigerian child finishing secondary school can have access to higher education without our having to build a new university. So, but we have unfortunately been, building more universities, giving licenses to new, higher education operators, and that has further destroyed the system because we are now scattering our resources instead of using our resources to take care of 70 universities and make them globally competitive. We are attending to 200 universities, even at the public sector level, and none of them is globally competitive. And so that's a very bad way to look at life. So these days we are thinking about the one thing. We also need to think of specializations. Some universities should be made to focus on STEM, should focus on arts, or should focus on management and business. That's not the way we're thinking. So every university in Nigeria is running all the courses all other universities are running. And that's why we are not able to, produce graduates who can compete at a global level. It has nothing to do with the graduates who are not competent. It has a lot to do with the system that is not giving them the resources they need to be able to utilize their gifts well. Interestingly, even when they don't do very well in Nigeria as they graduate, when they get opportunity to go abroad to do masters and do PhD, after struggling in the first semester, sometimes in the first year for those going to do PhD, they pick up, and because of that, hardship they went through here, they find the resilience and the spirit of enterprise that enables them to begin to excel. So sometimes people hear that Nigerians are excelling abroad, and so when you say we need to improve the system here, they will tell you, that person excelling in America, in Britain, is it not Nigeria that produced him? But if you talk to those people, they will tell you that in their first year in those countries, they struggled. It was after, they spent some time to understand how the system was that they picked up. So we want to build a system that makes it possible for you to get to Britain for further studies. On day one, you are able to function and claim your place effectively.
Without disparity.
Yeah, that's it.
All right, so you've emphasized the fact that, of course, there are private schools. Everyone knows private universities. Government keeps giving licenses for more to be created. Now, what role should these private schools and foreign partnerships play in improving Nigeria's education? Is it working?
Yeah, well, definitely there are universities in Nigeria that are collaborating with universities abroad, both universities in the public sector and private sector. But if you ask me, given the evidence we have, we are getting it wrong there, because we are trying to encourage government to believe that it's not their responsibility to train the Nigerian child. And that's a very unfortunate belief to have, because education is a social good. And so when you privatize it and make parents believe that it's their sole responsibility without government making any contribution for them to train their children, and even when you want to give assistance, you lend the money to them, which they have to pay back. So you are giving them a wrong mindset, and that's why the average Nigerian today is not really as patriotic as you want such people to be, because people believe that everything they have given to themselves. We say that every Nigerian is a government, unto himself or unto herself. You buy your own generator, you sink your own borehole, you do everything for yourself. So we have taken that mentality to education. We are saying government will lend you money to go to school. So when you borrow money to go to school, when you finish, it's your private investment, and you have to get back your return. So when Nigeria asks you to make a contribution that involves sacrifice, sometimes laying your life down to protect your country, you find that the average Nigerian is not very willing to go that far. And maybe that's one of the reasons why the problem of terrorism, banditry, the harassment challenges and all of that have remained with us. It's not that Nigerians don't have a clear idea regarding how to deal with those problems, but the question is, if you die in the line of duty, what happens to you and the people you are going to leave behind? Most of the time, police people complain. They retire or they die or get permanent disability while trying to protect the ordinary Nigerian, and they are left on their own. Yeah. So, so that idea of always emphasizing private, public partnership when it comes to education is not something we should be pursuing. Government should take it as their responsibility to educate the Nigerian child. That way, the child will know that it's government that has trained me, and I have a duty to use what I have picked from the system to start my country. And that's what has helped several countries around the world.
All right, you've said a lot already, but in your opinion, I will still ask, what urgent steps do you think Nigerian government needs to take now to rescue and strengthen the education sector?
Yeah, for a start, we need to sit down and ask ourselves a question. What do we think education should be doing for us? We don't yet know that as a people, really. What education should be doing for us is not just to empower the child to be able to find job and feed, really. Education should be a tool for national development. Education should be a tool for giving our children the right orientation, making them realize that Nigeria is their country, and that if this place works, then they won't be subjected to the kind of indignities where, that people go through as they try to migrate to other countries, really. Because even when you have high skills and you take those skills to other countries to go and work, you may be earning good money, but you may remain an alien. So from time to time, you are still afraid, you don't feel very, very settled. And even when you move your children abroad, you see they struggle before they find their feet. So you find so many Nigerian families that are abroad whose children are in depression because they are being discriminated against by the people who are hosting them. So we need to get that sorted out. Let's get a clear philosophy of education and get the Nigerian teacher who stands in classrooms to in the typical classroom any day, anytime, to recognize that education should be doing something for us, and what that something is should be very clear to the average teacher. And we should also train them to a level that they gain clarity regarding what learning means. The learning that the teacher believes in, as we speak for the average Nigerian teacher, is that learning is just about acquiring knowledge, but that's not a very good way to understand learning. Learning hasn't occurred until it has translated into the person who has benefited from it, solving real life problems and moving us a step further away from the problems that we're confronting. So we need to retrain our teachers. They are not in a creative place at the moment. They are so much into promoting rote learning in the school system, making children believe that they are in school just to acquire certificates which are meaningless.
If you could recommend one very bold reform that the government can make to make education better, what would it be?
Yeah, if you ask me, I would say that we should put about 20% of our national budget into education, and government should find the humility, courage, and sense of responsibility to accept that funding education is government's responsibility and that it is a good investment. And even when we permit private sector operators to come into the system, we should relate with them in such a way that we are still in charge as a government. And the way to be in charge and make it sensible, fair, equitable, and justice is to give money to private sector people who we have screened and we know they have what it takes to be able to collaborate with us to serve the Nigerian child who is in the school system.
But the government themselves, is not making even private-owned schools to be comfortable, in the sense that the levies, the bills they are meant to pay to government is quite huge, and I know many of them complain a lot.
Yes, that's what I was calling your attention to earlier. The government is seeing education as a private investment that people have to make. Government, the politicians who run the system don't see education as a public good. Until you recognize it as a public good, as a social good, you won't be able to let the government take up the responsibility of funding it. Because you keep thinking that when the individual goes to school, it's his family that benefits from it. That's not true. You can't move a country forward on a sustainable basis if you don't have competent citizens who can think properly, who are not into cronyism. You need people who can disagree with their parents, and that's okay. You need a wife who disagrees with the husband, and that's okay. So you are not likely to get to that level if you don't train people to become critical thinkers, to have analytical minds. Okay, So, so when you train the citizens to become competent citizens, they will look after the things you have created to benefit them. But as we speak now, Nigerians vandalize the things that you have put in place to provide them electricity. Children vandalize, vehicles that are supposed to bring food that feeds them in school. They have vandalized equipment in laboratories and things like that. The reason is simple. We haven't, made them see that we are supposed to be working together as a people and moving in a certain direction. So we're atomized. Even when we are sitting in a group, everybody is just looking after himself, and that's not a very good idea. And we take that to politics. You can see our politics. Yoruba votes for Yoruba, candidate. Igbo votes for Igbo candidate. Hausa votes for your Hausa candidate. We should go beyond that level. It to take education for us to take our people to that level where you don't really have to always think about the people who have the same surname with you when it comes to voting for people to go into public service. It takes education to get there.
All right, sir. I won't stop this discussion before I ask this question. In some states now, some governors have started cancelling issues of graduation parties. Imo State, I think, and some other states have come out to say no more for junior secondary school, that except you're graduating from senior secondary school, no more party even for primary schools. They have gone to cancel that. What's your reaction to that? Is it a step in the right direction? Because I know some other states want to also come up with that
many
policy.
States have already gone.
Yes,
Those states is into it, maybe Akwa Ibom or so. Even in the north, they have all lined up and they're doing that. Yeah, well, politicians like to play to the gallery. They ignore their responsibility, which is to fund education, and they are not discussing how to make that happen. And they are worrying about, graduation parties because they believe that is the way to become popular with parents whose children study in this place. So parents are clapping hands, but what they do not realize is the fact that when you rob children of the opportunity to celebrate as they are transiting from one level to another one, you are taking away a very important motivation element in the education system. Really? That's very true. Because it's, those ceremonies, children look forward to them. Parents may complain that they cost money, but they are among the reasons that keep children in school, that make them want to stay in school and finish and compete. Because at the arena where these ceremonies are done, that's also the arena where children get awards to convince themselves that they are good, smart young people, and that encourages them to take the next step, and get to where they should be.
So instead of cancelling it outright, what would you have suggested they do instead of, trying to regulate all that ceremony?
Government is wrong. Government shouldn't be dabbling into such things. Government is supposed to train school leaders, teachers, school counselors, and parents to know how to manage such events so that they won't cost as much money as they are costing now. So but what has happened is that a good number of schools in the private sector especially use such ceremonies to extract money from parents. And the reason is simple: they haven't got the skills. If you work with parents, something that is costing 3 million can cost only 100,000, because there are parents who will be happy to fund it for everybody to come and enjoy for free, and those people are there. But because we are not doing it as a joint venture, as a collaborative effort, you just discover that the school owner just sits down with his head of school and they determine the levy and impose it on parents. And so since most parents are not comfortable given the kind of economy we are running now, they complain about it, and when government officials heard, they think that's the way to move in there and take advantage of that to become popular. But you don't cut your nose to spite your face. I think that's how people speak that grammar. So as you're trying to solve one problem, you're creating a bigger one. You're robbing children of what makes them look forward to going to school, and that's not a very smart idea.
All right, thank you so much. So the big question remains now: are we ready to invest, reform, and rebuild the education system so that in the next 65 years we'll tell a better story for our education system? Today we've been discussing with Dr. Peter Ogudoro, He's an education researcher. He's also the leader of Nigerian Teachers Community. Thank you so much, sir, for sharing your wealth of experience with us on this very important discussion.
I agree.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
All right, so we'll move on to the next segment of our program like we do every week, talking about the developmental strides of Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu in Lagos State. Please let's watch and get informed and educated about what's happening in Lagos State. I am Jumoke Michael. See you again in another edition of Summit. Bye-bye.
Our diversity is our strength. As Nigerians, we are blessed with a rich cultural heritage.
Governor Babajide Olushola Sanwo-Olu recently inaugurated the first phase of the Lagos State Housing Estate in Ajara, Badagry, marking the 24th housing project commissioned under his administration and delivering 420 new homes to residents. The commissioning, which the governor called a major milestone, underscores the state's continued commitment to providing decent and affordable shelter across all income levels, with a specific focus on decentralizing development outside the city center. Addressing an audience in the historic town, Governor Sanwo-Olu emphasized that the project was part of a broader vision to create a greater Lagos, where citizens live in dignity, work productively, and contribute to a 21st century economy.
It's been a big honor for us today in the historic city and town of Badagry, celebrating the launch of this stunning housing estate and the essential infrastructure that comes with them. This event marks, and very aptly, the 24th housing estate, humbly, that this administration has been able to put to commissioning. 24. If we had some other ones, that LSDPC and some other PPP, maybe it will be about 30, but 24 that we have done in 6 years. It's a major milestone on our path to creating a greater Lagos. It fills us with great joy to see this vision come to life. A Lagos where people live in dignity, they work productively, and they contribute to a 21st century economy. To remind all of the beneficiaries, that some of these things we do is for you to take full ownership. It's for you to ensure that once you become a tenant or a landlord or an homeowner here, you must, see yourself as a strategic partner at ensuring that the physical infrastructure, everything within the estate is kept clean. Because it's important that you can see the walkways are there, the car parks are there, the water treatment is working. You must ensure that you continue to maintain them and maintain them well. The Ministry of Housing will continue to work with you. We see it as shared responsibility because we are not the ones that will be coming here every day, and so we'll expect that you take the pride of your estate, you keep them clean, you keep them functioning, and you help to maintain the value. The state government will not renege on its own responsibility to continue to provide critical needs at all times. And as part of our sustainable effort, we're looking also to collaborate with the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Resources to ensure that power, power is also enhanced here. I'm told that there's a power project that we're doing not too far from here that will also improve the power reliability in Badagry West. That, I believe, will also enhance and improve the power infrastructure here. So all of these are things that we're working, and we're ensuring that our citizens continue to feel the real dividends of democracy. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, before I close, let me take this opportunity to greet my people. Badagry awe, awe, jẹ́ pé mi náà bá yín jó lénìí, àbí bẹ́ẹ̀ kọ́, inú mi dùn pé mo tún wálé, jẹ́ pé mo wá kò tí tó oṣù méjì tá wá sí gbogbo àwọn títì yẹn, àti tí wá sí mi fún yín lénìí, mo jẹ́ tún fẹ́ padà wá again náà.
Commissioner for Housing, Maruf Akinderu Fatai, described the commissioning as a beacon of hope for families and noted that the project was a bold testament to the governor's vision under the Themes Plus agenda.
Blocks in one residential building. Each building contains a combination of 1, 2, 3 bedroom furnished apartments with complementary facilities such as kitchen cabinet, light fixtures, and wardrobes. Here at Ajara, the Lagos State government did not just construct these buildings. We are about incubating new communities. We have boosted the local economy with direct and indirect jobs. We are deepening social economic growth in Ajara, Badagry, and environs and beyond. Another housing project here in Ajara, Badagry. This project demonstrates that affordable mass housing delivery in Lagos State is not confined to only one metropolis, from Lekki to Igondo, from Epe to Badagry, from Ikorodu, Igbogbo to Ikeja. The state government resolve remains the same to ensure that every resident, regardless of location, has access to decent and dignified accommodation. I express my deep appreciation to our development partners, the dedicated team of the Ministry of Housing, and our contractors and the host community for their cooperation, expertise, and unwavering support throughout the life cycle of this project. Mr. Governor, sir, your vision is to make Lagos State livable and sustainable, to immediately commence work on Ajara Phase 2, the Epe Phase 2, and Epe Ajara Command Scheme, as well as Imota. This will help further put your legacy on affordable housing development on solid. Sir Governor, sir, history will definitely be kind to your leadership for the provision of livable and serene environment to those that you have been able to get to the housing ladders at prices that are far below construction costs. We thank you on your behalf, sir. On their behalf, sir. As we commission Lagos Home, let us then celebrate not only a new housing estate, but the opportunities it will bring, the life it will touch, and the future it represents for generations.
We thank God. We thank the governor for fulfilling his promise for Badagry. And as part of his validatory project, when the administration will be winding up, we expect that the Phase 2, this groundbreaking was done today, will also be commissioned. We are grateful, and as Oliver East, we shall continue to ask more. Just, we are doing other divisions. Badagry division is not left out.
Across the length and breadth of Lagos State. The commissioning coming barely 2 months after the commissioning of series of road network projects here in Badagry. This stands as a clear evidence of your unparalleled commitment to the holistic development of Badagry Federation. Indeed, this is a season of bountiful harvest for our people under your purposeful and progressive leadership. Mr. Governor, sir, the Lagos Home Project in Badagry is not just another housing scheme. It is the manifestation of a visionary leader, idea of visionary leader, first conceived by our leader and the president, His Excellency Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, during his time as governor of Lagos State. What we are witnessing today is the nurturing of that noble dream that turned into tangible reality through your hands, the hands of a builder, a doer, and a governor who walks the talk. The people of Badagry are truly delighted. We see this project not only as a home for residents, but as a symbol of inclusion, progress, and renewed hope for all of us. As a local government, sir,
we have thought deeply about how best to express our appreciation to you. We are equally grateful for the ongoing electrification project in Badagry West LCDA, which is already bringing light and relief to several underserved communities. We see your footprints everywhere, and the people of Badagry are eternally thankful.
The Ajara project created over 1,300 direct and indirect jobs during its construction phase, with more job opportunities expected from the facility management upon full occupancy. The 420-unit Phase 1 of the Ajara scheme consists of 35 blocks of 12-in-1 residential buildings, offering a mix of 1, 2, and 3-bedroom semi-furnished apartments. The estate is equipped with modern amenities, including paved roads, a water treatment facility, a sewage plant, an efficient drainage system, and a comprehensive electrification network. The third Lagos State Occupational Safety and Health Conference, LASOSH, held in Lagos recently. The event was organized by the Lagos State Safety Commission, LSSC, with the theme, Occupational Safety and Health as a Catalyst for Nation Building. It held at Lagos Oriental Hotel in Victoria Island. The governor described the initiative as a bold declaration that safety in Lagos will no longer be treated as an afterthought, but as a structured and professional discipline within the public service.
Technology is going to play a very strong role. Lagos has taken the lead with the deployment of safety applications that empower citizens to report hazards on real-time basis rather than reactively. This is how Lagos is setting the pace, using innovation not only to secure today, but to align and to anticipate what challenges or what the future holds for us. And like what the DG also said, part of the things that we need to take away from here is to say that leadership must also be called to action. But it's not only just about the leadership, it's about the followership as well. Whilst leader must be at their highest level, the followership also must, be identified. And like the MD also said, there must be shared responsibility, while we'll also ensure that information is also shared. So these are some of the things that we all need to take away. And like our guest speaker had said, it said that he's not just going to be doing finance, he'll be doing safety along with finance. He'll be ensuring that everywhere that he's deploying resources to, is deploying it safely and responsibly. Safely and responsibly. And so we want to thank you that our safety first will be a slogan that we'll be working with you to ensure that all our MSMEs have sufficient shocks, they have sufficient resilience to ensure that, we're not just throwing good money into bad business. But however, let me also stress, like I said, government cannot do it alone. We all need all of us, as leaders, as followers, to have the shared responsibility and to ensure that everybody plays their part, and they play it very, very well. Where safety is not seen at a cost, but investment, is critical. And so as we move, more importantly, we're in October, as we move towards the end of the month or end of the year, there'll be a lot of calling that I personally will be leading the charge.
The President has consistently emphasized that development must be people-oriented and centered, and that every Nigerian deserves the dignity of decent work. Occupational safety and health is a central part of this vision. For jobs to be meaningful and truly empowering, they must also be safe. Likewise, sustainable economic growth is best achieved when the people driving it are protected, supported, and able to contribute at their full potentials. This is why, in line with the Renewed Hope agenda, the Ministry of Labor and Employment is strengthening its focus on occupational safety and health, and we will soon declare state of emergency on occupational safety and health. Our goal is to ensure that safety is fully integrated into national efforts on job creation and employability, turning strong safety standards into a competitive advantage for Nigerian industries. We are committed to supporting employers with clear and practical regulations that protect workers while enabling enterprise to thrive. In addition, we are equipping workers, particularly the younger generation entering the workforce, with the knowledge and skills that safeguard their well-being and enhance their prospects in a modern economy. These efforts cut across both the formal and informal sectors, reflecting our conviction that every worker deserves protection. However, the government cannot do it alone. Employers, trade unions, civil society, academia, and the media all have vital roles to play in cultivating a safety-first culture.
We can also position Nigeria as a regional leader in embedding ESG-driven safety practices across all sectors, from high-risk industries to MSMEs, and ensuring that we integrate global standards in technology and accountability. We can build workplaces that are safe, competitive, and resilient. This is why the theme of this conference, Occupational Safety and Health as a Catalyst for Nation Building, is a call for collective action. Governments must continue to advocate robust policies and strengthen enforcement frameworks while incentivizing compliance through fiscal policies and recognition programs.
Director General of the Lagos State Safety Commission, LSSC, Lanre Mojola, revealed that compliance levels have significantly improved, leading to fewer enforcement actions. Mojola announced induction of 28 new occupational safety officers, noting that over 20,000 facilities in the state are now registered on the Government Safety Information System with verified pictorial evidence.
Just again, recently we've opened 5 new locations across Lagos, from Oshodi to Bejuleki to Ikorodu and Oniru and Amowo, and we hope that will continue to grow. Mr. Governor, looking forward, what is our plan? We're looking at AI. How do we leverage on AI? How do we ensure that we can predict issues before they crystallize? Another major thing, Mr. Governor, that we want to do is READER. READER is the mandatory reporting of injuries, incidents, and dangerous occurrences. From this report, what we will be able to do is to see near misses. We'll be able to identify fatalities before they occur. Again, we want to deepen inspection with high-rise buildings. Lagos is moving vertical. Recently, we saw what happened with one of our high-rise buildings that is completely sealed. For the first time in Lagos, it was not fire that killed, it was actually smoke. And this is a call for action to start to have more inspectors going in and out of our buildings, checking all these issues before they occur. Aside this, Mr. Governor, for traffic management and transportation, we've realized that there's a need for us to do a lot more training for our drivers across the roads. So working with LBSL and NURTW, we started to train drivers on the Safe Start principle. The game changer for us, Mr. Governor, is the Domestic Safety Platform. Working with the Ministry of Justice, working with the Commissioner for Youth and Social Development, and LASRA, the registration agency, we're developing a platform where we can indeed validate every single domestic staff in Lagos. And that way, we're safeguarding the domestic staff, we're also safeguarding their principles by ensuring that we're putting in domestic safety principles. This, we believe, would impact everyone across Lagos State. The safety of the people shall be the highest law. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm telling you that the safety of the people is still the highest law in Lagos State government. And a big round of applause to Mr. Governor and the Expo for making this happen.
Sanwo-Olu also signed a memorandum of understanding with the Bank of Industry to strengthen safety initiatives across the state. Commissioner for Special Duties and Intergovernmental Relations, Olugbenga Oyeride, reaffirmed the government's commitment to protecting every resident saying every Lagosian deserves to live, work, and move freely without fear.
The Ministry of Special Duties and Intergovernmental Relations and the agency under it, namely Lagos State Emergency Management Agency, Lagos State Fire and Rescue Services, Lagos State Neighborhood Watch Safety Agency, Lagos State Command and Control Center, and Lagos State Safety Commission have remained steadfast in delivering on our mandates. Together, we constitute a robust safety architecture designed to prevent accidents, swift response to emergencies, protections of life and properties. I'd like to remind you that since the inception of this present administration, our ministry and agency have recorded remarkable milestones. We have enhanced emergency response time. The Lagos State Emergency Management Agency, LASEMA, has strengthened its disaster preparedness and response mechanism, ensuring timely interventions in crisis situations.
Governor Sanwo-Olu inaugurated the Safety First campaign and the Occupational Safety Cadets, the first of its kind in sub-Saharan Africa. The annual LASOSH conference remains a vital platform for thought leaders, practitioners, and policymakers to exchange ideas and chart pathways for safer workplaces and communities in Lagos State.